Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is Chico. That is Peanut. Oops, that's Peanut over there. And that is Megan. And they're going to join us for about 30 seconds because I think that's what the length of their attention span is. And thanks for joining us tonight with Megan, myself, for hanging out with.
He's done.
All right. We get a chance to talk to Megan tonight about being an entrepreneur. Not about the dogs. They might come back later. We'll see. But you don't want to go. So, as I said, it's been a long time since I've done one of our live streams, hang out with, and Megan was so gracious to accept my offer to join us tonight and get asked all about her business, her being an entrepreneur, her videos on her on her YouTube channel go through everything from incorrect, and stop me at any point that you might think that is incorrect. Her videos are all about, let's see, email tips, which I loved, being a freelancer, dealing with virtual assistants, VAs, correct? So far, so good.
Yep.
Entrepreneur tips, cold call emails, B2B leads on LinkedIn and how to get them, and a whole bunch of other things to do with entrepreneurship. Is that a good outline of your YouTube channel?
Yep.
Excellent. Fantastic. So everybody, welcome Megan Grant. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. Woo!
Thank you. And Peanut.
All right. So as you always, everybody that's joining us tonight, thank you very much so far. We got all good. We got Jose from RicoSuave Investing IPOs. If anybody else is joining us and you have any questions for Megan throughout the evening, please just pose on the side. We're going to try and get through this in an hour or so, sometimes a little bit longer, sometimes a little bit shorter. So Megan is in Vegas. I'm in Toronto, and let's get going with the very first question and get to know Megan. So when did you start becoming an entrepreneur?
I think it's been a work in progress probably for about 10 years now. I started just as freelance writing. It was kind of a side hustle that I had. But over the years, I got so tired of the 9-to-5 life. It was just very unfulfilling and very frustrating. And I thought there has to be something better than this. So in 2017, that was when I officially started my agency and never looked back. So I've been doing it full time since then. And I just keep growing, keep climbing.
Good. So what were you doing? You're doing a 9-to-5 grind, I guess you could say. What was your job prior to that?
I've always worked in marketing and communications. Okay. That's meant a lot of different things, a lot of writing, since that's what my background is in, but social media, email marketing, a little bit of graphic design. You kind of have to wear a lot of hats.
Got it. And so what? One day you just said, that's it. Enough. I can't handle this anymore. Or you had your side hustle going. You're just like, you know what? I'm probably making more money doing this and growing this than I am working the 9-to-5. Is that correct? More or less, or? More
or less, yeah. I mean, the final straw was I kept getting laid off. I was working for really small companies, and when they're struggling, when sales are down, marketing is always the first department to get cut. Always. So wow. I was laid off. That was the 4th time I had been laid off in about 5 years. And after that, I was like, why am I even doing this? I can't even keep a job, no matter how hard I work, no matter how good I perform. I would have better luck being in control of it myself. So That's what I did.
Wow. Okay, so tell us about your business then. You're like, okay, I'm going to take this entrepreneur leap. Away I go. Tell us about your business.
So my business is, I say it's a digital marketing agency, but the majority of my work focuses on content creation, which usually means blog content. Writing is what I love the most. It's what I'm the best at. So that's where I focus most of my effort. But in growing the agency, I learned a lot about sales and client acquisition. And that very naturally led me to teaching others how to do it. So now, besides my agency, which is just chugging along, I teach other professionals how to land clients. And it's been an amazing feeling being able to help other people also grow their businesses.
Good. And you're saying, we were talking earlier as well, that you do have a course, correct? Is that
Yes.
kind of like along the lines helping people how to grow their businesses and whatnot? Is that what part of the course is all about?
Yeah, I show them my process of landing clients, sourcing leads, qualifying your leads. I show them how to email them and everything from start to finish so that they can scale their business's revenue.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to post the link right now to Megan's course. If anybody wants to go and check it out, go ahead. There it is. Revenue Spark. You're more than welcome. And and take a look at it and see if it's of value to you. So so how did you kind of learn to be an entrepreneur? Like just through trial and error as you grew, you're learning, you're growing more and more and more. Is that basically how it worked out for you?
Yeah, it was a lot of trial and error. Honestly, it wasn't something that I took to very naturally because while I'm a very strong writer, if you're running a business, you're not just a writer anymore or whatever service you provide, you're a business owner. So you have to learn all kinds of new skills. And I didn't have those skills yet. I just knew how to write. So there was a lot of stuff very much outside of my comfort zone. And it was a huge learning curve. It's still a huge learning curve. But so is everything. You can't grow if you don't learn new things.
Absolutely. Like that, I find that to be so true about being an entrepreneur. I've always said this to anybody that I help out and I mentor and I coach, and that is, it doesn't come with a manual. You have to figure it out yourself, right?
Yep.
So what are some of the, sorry, go ahead.
No, that was it. I was just agreeing with you. You just have to, you learn along the way and you learn from your mistakes, and that's all you can do, really.
Absolutely. And so how did you, going back then when you actually started this business, what was the first day? Like the first day when you thought, okay, you know what, I want to be a freelancer. I want to start out with my business. Was it as a freelancer that you actually started that way? Like let's go through it, because there's a lot of people out there that are working the 9 to 5, but they don't know how to make that leap. I call it the entrepreneur leap. Yeah. Like, so how did you come up with that? I want to do this. I'm passionate about it. And did you grow up from the side hustle to the point, like, did you have a goal in mind as to at what point you're going to make that leap?
So I had been freelancing until around 2017, and that's when I created my LLC. And at the time, as a freelancer, I was making just enough to get by. So I knew I could at least pay my bills, and I was okay. I was safe. I had very steady, clients who I'd been working with for a while. So I was safe to I didn't need to go out and get a 9 to 5 just to cover my bills. I was fine. But I didn't want to make just enough money to get by. I wanted to make a lot of money. So, there's this awkward period where you need to take on more clients, but you're not yet in a position where you can afford to hire someone to help you. So for a while, as I grew, which I grew fairly quickly, I was just working so much. And then eventually I was able to hire people to help me. And that just opens up a whole new world of opportunities, because then you're not limited by your own time anymore. You have other people who can help you. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Who was the first person that you hired? What was that position?
She was doing social media, I think, because that was a service I've offered my clients. So I would always start people off with like small social media accounts. And these days, it's just me and one other person right now. Her name's Trisha, and she's amazing. And man, she can do it all. She does social media for me. She does writing, and I've grown tremendously thanks to her.
Good for you. Awesome. How many staff do you have right now then?
It's just us. It's the two of us.
That's it. Eh? Wow.
Yeah. And Peanut.
That's great teamship. Sorry?
Yeah. And Peanut.
And Peanut. The mascot. Yeah. So how do you promote your business? How do you get out there? So I find a lot of entrepreneurs are like, they can create the business. Next step is to promote it and then to maintain it. It's usually those 3 steps. How do you go about promoting your business?
I talk to a lot of people through LinkedIn. That's how a lot of people find me. I'm very active there. Other than that, it's direct outreach. It's me reaching out to them saying, hey, let's work together. Little bit word of mouth. My clients are always very generous with referrals. And I would say that's it. I have a Facebook page for my business that we keep active, but we post 3 times a week, and that's about it. So yeah, it's really just, and then also like through my my pages as a coach, as a sales coach, every now and then I'll get another business or someone who works for a business and they want to partner with my agency. But really, it's just me getting out there and getting in front of people.
Wow. So the big question, why? Why do you do what you do?
Well, my agency, that was the bread and butter for a long time. It gave me that freedom from the 9 to 5. It gave me stability and security, and it's something no one can ever take away from me. In terms of my programs where I'm, teaching other people, that's, I think, where my real passion is, because if I can save people from having to go through the 10-year journey I went through, if we could fast forward their results, imagine being able to give someone the tools and the resources to find financial freedom. Ultimately, that's what it's about. And there are so many people out there who are so skilled and so knowledgeable, they just don't know how to land clients, but they're really good at what they do. So if we can bridge the gap, it's just the sky's the limit.
Yeah. They say that one of the biggest challenges entrepreneurs have is to sell their product or their service, right? Because they're so involved in actually producing it, creating it. And to actually get out there and sell it and promote it is actually quite difficult for them. So
yes.
Do you find that often with your clients?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When you think about it, most businesses are born from that business owner's passion, something that they love. So I opened an agency because I love writing.
Right.
It normally starts with something you're passionate about, but that passion, unfortunately, isn't going to carry your business. And that's not to say it's not a good thing. Of course, it's a good thing to love what you do, but you have to know the sales and the marketing, and that's the only way you're going to grow. So I think a lot of us start our businesses, including freelancers, they're business owners, and we're not prepared for that. We're just prepared to provide the service.
Excellent. Excellent. So what motivates you? What motivates Megan?
Freedom. That's,
I like it. Great answer. Yeah. That's my number one answer as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's freedom, and I think it's security. I spent so much of my, early years with very little money, very stressed out about money. I was always scared of it, and I hated money because I didn't have that much. And that took a lot of rewiring up here, but I don't ever want to have to worry about that again. And I don't want other people to worry about it. So it's really that wanting that comfort, because money, I know they say money doesn't buy happiness, which I would agree, but I think money gives you freedom and it gives you choice, and those bring me happiness. So
exactly. Absolutely. Totally agree with you. The freedom is definitely what it's all about, the way I see it, as well as being an entrepreneur. Right. Yeah. So great answer. Okay. So what's one of your favorite quotes for being an entrepreneur?
I can't remember the exact wording, but it's something like, if your mind can believe it, you can achieve it. Or if your mind can conceive it, you can achieve. Basically, like, if you believe it up here, you can make it a reality. Yeah,
absolutely. So what's your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
Honestly, I don't know if this is going to sound kind of tacky, but I've loved having control. I was always a good employee. I was always a good student. I have no problem with authority and following someone else's direction. But again, in terms of the 9 to 5 life, that stripped me of any control. Someone could take away my paycheck with no warning, and I had no say. So I like now that I have more control, and I know how to go out and get clients. If I lose a client, I know how to get another one. I know how to get bigger clients. I know how to make more money. And brings a sense of comfort with that, knowing that it's on you. It's pressure, but it's also very liberating because you have the power.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Great point. Really good point. If you're not controlling your life, then who is? Right? Yeah. And not having that control, it always scared me when I was younger, thinking, you have a job and that boss has got that so much control over you that
Mm-hmm.
I could have brought like some of my friends, right? Early 20s. So, I have a job and they've been there for a while. And then all of a sudden they just like, that's it. Sorry, we just don't need you anymore. Like, what? For the last few years. They've given so much to that position. So yeah, that was one of my motivating factors when I started way back when. The freedom and obviously the control of your own life, right? So
Yeah, because there's this trickle down effect. It's not just, it's not just the paycheck, it's not just the money, but there's so much that depends on money, on having a steady stream of money, of income, of revenue. And the instant your employer takes your paycheck away, it's just like so many things can come crashing down. So if you take yourself out of that vulnerable state where someone else can take your money from you, then I just think that's such an amazing position to be in.
absolutely. It's always good, obviously, to have multiple streams of income as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds great that you've got that ability that, hey, if you lose a client, you know how to gain a client, right? Yeah. So that's great. Like, you don't need to be fearful out there about anything. So it's more people need to know this. Like, more people need to understand, like, get multiple streams of income and be able to learn, learn how to catch the fish, right? Not to be given the fish all the time, but to learn how to catch that fish so you can look after yourself all the time. It's so, so important.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, did you ever have a mentor?
I don't know if I can call her a mentor technically, but someone that I've followed online a lot is her name's Sunny Lenarduzzi, and I would say,
yeah, she's a Canadian. I think she's from Vancouver, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Got that one right.
She's old. She's amazing at what she does. Wow. She's not. I don't want to call her my mentor. I feel like that's misleading, but I am enrolled in her program, so I look at her as my mentor because that's usually the first person I go to for guidance. But other than that, no, I don't have like a traditional mentor.
She knows her stuff, eh?
Like, yeah.
Like, guys, everybody watching, go and check out Megan's channel. And if it's value to you, obviously subscribe. But Megan knows her stuff. I've watched a few of her videos and I've thought, holy mackerel, she knows this. Like, she gets it. Like, she really, like I was telling her at the beginning of, before we went live, is like I was watching one of her videos on emails being sent, and I use eye contact, as I said earlier, and I was checking the boxes off, and I thought, geez, man, like, there's still so much more you've given me, like all these little gems that were hidden in your videos. It is incredible. So if you guys can go check out our videos and see if, like I said, if they're of value to you, man, like Sunny, Megan knows her stuff as well. So yeah, really, really, really good to hear. Really good stuff. Let's see. If you could give your 15-year-old self some advice, what would it be?
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Ooh. Now, why do you say that?
Oh man, if I look back to my younger years, my teenage years, and I look back on all the things that I worried about and stressed about and cared about, many of which were not that important, I just would have saved myself so much emotional exhaustion. And that's kind of my philosophy these days. If things aren't going my way exactly, which when do things ever perfectly go your way? Never. I always ask myself, is this worth being mad about? Is it worth being sad about? Is it going to matter tomorrow? And most of the time, the answer is no. So if the answer is no, I let it go and I move on with my life.
Smart. Do you have any plans in the future to branch out into other business ideas?
I have a million ideas. I have to force myself to stay focused and not get, shiny object syndrome. But once everything's up and running, a little more on autopilot, I'm still very much involved. But, later on, I would love to explore new things.
You want to enlighten us with any, subtle ideas, nothing too detailed and whatnot, but anything of interest that we go, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I would love to do something more specific for writers because, like I mentioned earlier, writing is my biggest passion. I do have, a writing course, but I want to do even more. And I don't know exactly what that would look like yet, but I love everything about writing. I've loved it for as long as I could pick up a pen. It's I think about it. I wake up thinking about it. I go to bed thinking about it. I know that sounds weird, but
really?
I love it so much.
That's incredible.
it's,
I mean,
it's,
that's an area that I think a lot of people could really use your service. Is that?
yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, I always say, and I stand by it, if you know how to write, you can do a lot of different things. Writing, having a good grasp of your language is like the root of so many skills. So I think it's something that applies to more people than just writers.
Absolutely. So true. So true. So everybody knows that being an entrepreneur can always be extremely challenging. Extremely challenging. What have you come across as some of your, can you give us an example of a few obstacles, challenges that you come across and the solutions to, during the process of you growing your company?
Oh yeah. So there are two that stand out in particular. The first one is I am a workhorse. I always have been. And I thought that being a hard worker would be enough. And it's certainly a huge part of it. You can't make it as an entrepreneur without having that work ethic. But yeah. I learned a hard lesson. It took me forever to get it through my thick head. The difference between working hard and working smart. And if I hadn't finally processed that idea, I would have just burnt out because I was working 15-hour days, not making that much money. I was miserable. I was sick. And that was finally when I had to start looking at, software that would help me automate certain tasks and maybe hiring another person and finding ways to work smart, not just work more.
Yeah, definitely. So when was it that you realized, hey, I need to work smart as opposed to hard? Like, did this light bulb just bing, go off one day?
I would say probably a year into my agency, but by then I had been freelancing and building this up for about 8 or 9 years. So right. I was burning the candle at both ends for way too long. And I waited until I couldn't wait anymore, and I should have done it sooner. But lesson learned, it won't happen again.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, no, it will not.
Yeah, don't let it happen again. That's a big step, on the journey of being an entrepreneur, right? It's like when you figure that out. And also, yeah, it's like working on your business as opposed to working in your business. When you can start hiring people that are smarter than you and that, can really be a great part of your team, that's the best. And they're doing the jobs for you. Yeah, it's an incredible feeling. It really is. So do you read a lot of books, entrepreneur books?
Yeah. I read every day. And then of course there's lots of entrepreneur and self-help and yeah.
Okay. So name me 3 of your top entrepreneur books.
Oh boy. Profit First. Well, that's more money, but good for entrepreneurs. This isn't a business book, but I think it's great for business owners. The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F.
Yeah.
A bleep. And then, what's that book? You Are a Badass at Making Money. And again, that's not solely a business book. I mean, there are a bunch in there. Honestly, I read so much that I can't even pull random titles out of my mind. But the money books have been the most pivotal for me because that's just something I've always struggled with.
Yeah. Are you okay? So my next question, there's a lot of investors in our community. Dave at Hidden Freedom right here in his comment below. Great investors, incredible investors. I've learned a lot from them. And do you do a lot of investing yourself?
I have finally started investing last year. So I'm still very green, but I'm doing it.
Good. Hey, that's great. I mean, honestly, go back and look at these guys' channels. You've got you've got Jose and RicoSuave investing here. We got Hidden Freedom with Dave. Who else has got along here? These are great channels, great people, great community that we've got here. We got Ethos Investing here as well. If you ever get a chance and you really want to learn about investing and whatnot, these are great guys to check out their channels. Okay,
Heck
so
yeah, thank you.
Afterwards, after this, absolutely, I set you up for into their channels. That'd be a lot of fun for you. And they're very entertaining at the same time. And they know their stuff. Good. You know your stuff in your field. These guys know their stuff in their field. It's incredible. So, okay. So what is your definition of being successful?
I'm going to sound like a broken record here. Freedom, having freedom.
Okay.
being able to make as much as you want while working as much or as little as you want.
Yeah. You ever see yourself being retired?
Yeah. Sooner rather than later. That's another huge, motivating factor for me. I don't want to have to work until, I'm in my 60s or whatever. If you want to do that, then that's great. I don't. I don't think we're meant to be on this planet to work our whole lives. I want to do work that gives me joy, but I want to do work that gives me the money that I want so that I can have the freedom. That is how I will define success.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years. I've envisioned myself working kind of like part-time hours, and then having, the other half of that time of the day to do the things I love. Just things that bring me joy. I love fostering. I've fostered several dogs over the years. I want more time for that. I write books that someday, hopefully someone will read. I would like more time for that. Travel. I just want to live my life. It sounds like really small things, but those are the things that make me happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever makes you happy, right? Like that's what it's all about. Life is, to me, is all about like having fun and being happy. Absolutely. Yeah. So how many hours a week on average are you dedicating to your business right now?
I would say right now on an average week, probably 50 total. And that's managing client work and then also my students. So, but it's a lot better because I used to work more hours than that, and it was completely dedicated to work I wasn't enjoying. So there's a big difference when you actually start to like what you do.
It makes a big difference, eh?
Yeah. And I am working way less than I used to. So it's the change has been really good for me mentally and physically.
So are you still excited about what you do? Like I have problems sometimes sleeping at night because I'm excited to get up the next morning because I was like, I can't wait to do this next project or anything that I've got going on. I have a hard time sleeping. My mind's racing, blah, 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 blah. It's a good thing. Like, do you find that as well? Have you gone through that before?
Yeah, there are certain things that definitely get me fired up more than others. Like I still have those moments where I'm sitting down to write something for a client or whatever, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this, but I mean, that's life. But when I'm planning out, like I love creating content. I love creating YouTube videos and blogs and, I have freebies on my website. I love creating stuff. So whenever I know that I'm going to wake up and go do something like that, I'm like, I can't wait. That's the stuff that I love.
That's cool. Are you okay? So you obviously got drive and you're very passionate about your business. Are you also do you also have drive and passion in other areas of your life as well? If you do, what are they?
Well, writing, I write for pleasure as much as I write for business. Reading, so some people who don't fully get it, when I tell them I love reading, they're like, okay, and what? They don't understand how anyone can love reading that much. Being around animals, my dogs, fosters, and anything that gets me outside. So those are the things I'm thinking of when I'm thinking about the freedom I'm trying to build.
Got it. So how do you plan on growing your business over the next few years?
Uh-oh.
What?
Hold on. I think I lost you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry, that cut out. Can you just repeat what you said last?
I said, how do you plan on growing your business over the next few years?
More students. My business, the growth is very steady, knock on wood. And YouTube is growing, which is where I'm getting a lot of my traffic. I want more students. I want to reach more people, help more people. And that's where I think the future really is for me. My agency is great. It, kind of just naturally grows on its own, but helping other people learn what I know, that is where my future is.
Yeah. So when you got your first client, and I know like being an entrepreneur with your business and you're putting it together, you haven't proven it yet, you're nervous, you're still working on it, and then you land that first client. How did it feel?
It was really exciting. And it was also terrible because to close this client, this was before I learned more about money and charging for what you're worth. I closed my first client at like Oh God, I'm embarrassed to even say it. I was charging this guy like $200 a month, and it was my first client, so I was just like, heck yeah. But
Yeah,
I also
absolutely.
thought, I was like, 200, what am I going to pay with $200 a month? So that's the last time I ever charged that little, but it was also a huge breakthrough for me. It was that first moment where I got the taste of that excitement, that rush. But that was a lesson in and of itself, because I realized that undercharging, you're attracting the wrong kinds of clients.
Yeah.
They end up, they just nickel and dime you. They fight you on everything, which is ironic because they're paying you so little. You think they wouldn't care. It's the opposite. So that's my memory of my first client.
It's a great feeling though when you first get that first one. It's incredible.
Mhm.
Like it's slowly proven. I've always said you can get one client, you can get 1,000 clients, right? So it's exhilarating. It really is. So
it is, and it's like snowballing.
Yeah. When that starts happening, it's like that snowball going down the hill, gets bigger and bigger and bigger with clients. It's a really satisfying feeling. It really is. So what are some of the mistakes that you made in the past that you wish that you didn't make?
Waiting too long to understand working smart, like we talked about earlier. Undercharging. Oh, I have a horrible problem. That's still my tendency. I have to catch myself. Now these days, when I'm about to send a proposal, I sit on it. I don't send it right away. I sit on it for one night, and then I revisit it the next morning. And I almost always raise my rates because I always undercharge. Yep. I just kept shooting myself in the foot over and over again because I was working so much and the money I was making did not reflect that. I thought, why am I working so much and making so little? It was because of me. I was charging too little. Yeah. So that was a big one. Knowing when to say no to clients. And this is something I tell my students all the time. If you're a freelancer or whatever, consultant, coach, you're a business owner. So don't act like an employee. If you act like an employee, that's how they're going to treat you. And I made myself a doormat for so many of my clients because I would not stand up for myself. That was another tough lesson I finally learned. But I think those are probably the big ones. And they all stem from me. I had control.
Kudos to you to admit it.
Thank you.
That's very admirable of you. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Dan's got a quick question. Is business picking back up in Vegas?
Yes and no. Businesses opened back up and then went back to 25% capacity. And now apparently there's a new strain of COVID, and like we don't really know. We're kind of in limbo. So, and I've noticed it with my clients over the months. Some of them they come and go because their business starts to pick up and then it slows down. So we could still have a second lockdown here for all I know. It could go either way.
Crazy times, eh? Crazy times for us to tell our grandkids, holy mackerel. Can we believe we're experiencing this? So
no,
that's a whole other video, a whole other topic. So what's been one of your greatest accomplishments in your business so far?
When I started making 5 figures a month, that was very big for me because it was the next big milestone I had. And, I was sitting down looking at my accounting and all the numbers, and I didn't realize at the time that I had hit that milestone. And then I'm checking the numbers and I'm checking them again. I'm like, no, but I did. So that was really nice. And then also the first student I ever enrolled in my client acquisition program, that was huge. And there were tears because it was, again, it's kind of like landing your first client with your agency. You just see, okay, this is possible. And if I can get one student, I can get as many as I want.
1,000.
So, yeah. So it was a big turning point for me.
Good for you. And I just posted Megan's her revenue, her link again, Revenue Spark link again. So anybody check it out when you guys get a chance. So what is unique about your business?
Well, I would say this is kind of a double-edged sword, but both on the agency side and with my students, they get the human touch. I know a lot of my clients, before they were clients, expressed concern to me because they didn't want to work with an agency. They were scared that they were just going to get passed off to some account manager. And I was like, good news, I don't have any. I don't have account managers. And then, same with my students. They're worried that they're going to enroll and that's it. They're on their own. But people, when they work with me, they get me. I'm the one picking up the phone. I'm the one communicating with them. And, like I said, it's a double-edged sword because that also means that sometimes I'm involved in a lot more than maybe time would allow or more than I want to be. But I like the interaction with people, and it's also very beneficial to them. So if that will help me provide a better service, a better experience, then that's what I'm going to do.
So how far along, since it's you're the face of the business, how far further along on your journey and your company growth do you think you can handle still doing this where it's you?
That's a question I think about every day because I've already, in terms of my agency, I don't know if it's something I could ever sell. So I wonder all the time, what do I do with this business? I really don't know. This is one of those lessons that I'm still figuring it out. And that was probably one of the mistakes I made building that business this whole time. I built a business I can't remove myself from. So I am the business. My agency wouldn't go a day without me. And that's not great. So, tough pill to swallow, but I don't know a way around that. I don't know if that means one day it's just not going to exist. I really don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I really think there's an interior designer here in Canada. A friend of mine works for her, and she's so good. And she's got her own TV show up here on HGTV Canada. But what she does is that she hires so many people, and she just makes a brief appearance with all of her clients. And she's got teams after teams after teams. She'll sign off on things. She'll design things. She'll tell people how to design things. She'll do everything, and she'll oversee everything. And she has brief introductions, conversations, with the client. So maybe that's something that you can get to. And she's huge, massive. So you can do it. It can be done with you being the personal face of the business. Absolutely, it can be done. So
I'd have to think about that, about training. Yeah, I could see that. Training other people to kind of step in.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. What habits do you think that you've got that have made you successful as an entrepreneur?
Stubborn. I'm very stubborn. I don't care how many times I fail. I don't care how many times I hear no. I keep going, and if I want something, I will find a way to get it. So very hard-headed, but I would argue that it's paid off in this case.
Absolutely. So you're obviously wearing a lot of hats in your business. How many hats roughly do you figure? You ever sat down and thought, hang on, I'm doing this, blah, 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 all these different jobs within my company. How many hats are you wearing?
If I had to guess on any given day, I'm probably focusing on 6, 7 different things. There's producing content, there's outreach, getting new clients, there's client communication, there's marketing the business, there's working with Trisha on my team. So it's a lot of, and then there's my programs and my students. So there's a lot of, you're constantly switching gears throughout the day. Something else that I'm hoping to kind of quiet down a little bit as the businesses grow so that I can focus on growth more and get myself out of the daily grind a little bit.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. How do you deal with failure?
Most of the time I force myself not to look at it as failure. I try to look at it as a lesson, as cliche as that sounds. And I give myself a little time to pout and a little time to be upset. And then I go, okay, now what? Because I know my options are either to sit there and continue being upset or fix it. COVID was like that for me. I'm hesitant to even call it a failure because we were all in such a crappy position, but it felt like a failure to me because you put so much into building this business, and within a week, more than half of my clients were gone. Yep. And I felt like a failure. So I let myself be sad that week and cried and had a little wine every night. And after that week, I went, right, well, come on. And then after that week, I remember I went back to work the next Monday and I was like, all right, so now what?
Yep.
What's next? And you just pivot.
Good for you. Yeah, you just pick yourself back up and away you go, right? Have a few cases of wine. I mean, a glass of wine. And then you're back to where you were. You just left off, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So there's many things that you can learn from failures too. Name me 2 or 3 things that you've learned from some of your failures?
I will always land on my feet. Always. Good. So in a sense, that gives me it brings me a little relief because I know, I've been laid off before. I lost the only paycheck I had. So even if I lose a few clients, I'll be fine. I always land on my feet. It might take, a couple weeks or a couple months, but sometimes I'll think, what's the worst that could happen? I've lost all of my income before and I was always fine. So why would I get stressed out about COVID? I'll figure it out. I always figure it out. And that's what I keep telling myself. And then I figure it out. But, again, we're just like, I have to believe it up here before I can actually do it. So I convince myself that I can do it and then I go do it. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. What risks do you think that you're facing right now? So you're saying, obviously, you had a few failures you figure because of COVID, but it really wasn't. It's just a situation that we're all in. I mean, I think everybody can tally up on that. So what risks or challenges do you think that you've got in the next little while us coming out of COVID? Do you figure?
I mean, this isn't really dependent on COVID at all, but I think a risk of, trying to build your own business in general, everything good and bad, it's all on you. And sometimes that fear does creep in that I'm going to spend all this time and all this energy building a business and it's ultimately not going to serve me. And what if it fails? What if it doesn't work? What if it doesn't get better? And all those what ifs. Whereas if I could find, a secure job, an employer would just take care of me and I would have health insurance and he would, cover the cost and all that. But I did that. I went down that path already and it didn't work. So every time those fears start to creep in, I thought this is no mystery. I already did the 9-to-5 thing and it didn't work for me. So why am I worrying about it? Yeah. But it's still, it is a risk. Starting a business is inherently risky. That's why so many fail. Yep.
It most certainly is. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. I totally agree with you. The majority of your clients, are they repeat clients? Do they keep coming back to you?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're all I don't do like one-offs. That doesn't help me build stability with my revenue. It doesn't give me any predictability. So when I work with a client, we're working together every month.
Good. So what's one bit of advice you would give for, say, somebody wanting to become an entrepreneur is your first question. What advice
what was that?
What advice would you give them? Somebody that wants to become an entrepreneur. Megan, I want to become an entrepreneur in the next while. What advice would you say to them? Give them.
I would say find something that you enjoy that brings you a sense of fulfillment and purpose, and find a way to monetize it. Don't just chase the money because that's not going to be enough to wake you up every morning and make you want to go work. And being a business owner is not a quick overnight thing. You have to dedicate yourself to it for the long run. So find something you love, find a way to monetize it.
Excellent answer. Excellent. How long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
I started it 2 years ago. I got more serious about it earlier in 2020, like early summer.
And you are you're uploading a video a week, I think it is?
One or two. Yeah. I'm trying to bump it up, but sometimes the time I can't do it fast enough.
Really? So how long does it take you to do a video? Because I know everybody that's watching right now is just like, videos and, doing them and editing. I mean, obviously some people got it mastered, but for me, it's always like the editing. It's like, oh, here we go. How long does it take you to do one of your videos?
I can record a video in about 20 minutes. Editing will take anywhere from, a half hour to an hour. Creating the thumbnail takes like 10, 15 minutes. So looking at maybe like 2 hours of video. but then there's also, researching it. I do, all of my videos are optimized. So I'm looking at the keywords and the traffic and the competition. That I think is probably the biggest time suck. I can spend like an hour trying to come up with one topic, but it's worth it. It's working and it's growing.
Wow. So you can get them out there quite easily and quite fast.
It's funny. I've heard that some people spend like 10 hours on a single video. And I mean, for longer videos, absolutely. But I try to keep mine, bite size, because I feel like I don't want to lose people's attention. So my videos are hardly ever more than 10 minutes. But, just trying to deliver content the audience cares about and keep people coming back.
Excellent. Excellent. If anybody hasn't had a chance yet to check out Megan's YouTube channel, go and check it out. Scroll on the bottom, Instagram, Coach Megan Grant as well. Megan Grant, YouTube. Lots of value there for other entrepreneurs. Subscribe to her channel. And also a quick little shout out here to Ryan, my partner in crime for Creator Talk. We're not going to do a Creator Talk this Thursday. It'll be next Thursday with a few surprise guests. So everybody join in on that. So Dan says, yeah, that's fast. No kidding, doing one of your videos. So how much you really enjoy, are you passionate about doing all your videos and you have all these ideas of your topics of that you want to discuss in your upcoming videos? What's the best part about being a YouTuber for you?
Being able to connect with people. I would say I love that opportunity to, connect with new people and hopefully help them. I think one of the reasons that it brings me so much joy also is because when I first moved to Vegas, I was a performer on the Strip. I did a lot of interactive. Yeah.
No way.
It was so much fun. And I did a lot of improv shows and I loved it. But what I didn't like was that I didn't feel like I was getting that opportunity to use my brain in the way that I wanted to. Right. But I love that type of communication and that type of interaction. So YouTube kind of allows me to combine my nerdy side and the performer side. And it's like the best of both worlds. And, it's a plus that people love watching video. We consume so much video content. So it's like the perfect harmony for me.
Good. How long, what's your ultimate goal with your YouTube channel?
I want that to be, a huge source of traffic for me, on the business side, but also just reaching people all over the world. I get more traffic from YouTube and more eyeballs on my work than my website, which is funny because I have a blog. My background is in writing, but YouTube is where the traffic is for me. And it's just such a good opportunity to help people using a form of communication, video, and they love it.
Yeah, it is pretty fun. It really is. I mean, it's a little time consuming at times, but geez, man, it's exciting when you hit that upload button and you're just waiting for it to come up. Yeah. It really is fun. Who do you admire the most?
Ooh.
You can say past any of these questions if you want, Megan.
Who do I admire the most?
Yeah. Do you have somebody that you admire the most?
Like in my personal life or anyone?
It could be business, could be personal.
Well, I always gravitate towards people who are very wealthy, very powerful, but do good things with their money and with their platform.
Yeah.
People I know everyone's got their opinions on her, but people like Oprah, like Ellen DeGeneres. I think, and if I ever, I'll probably never have as much money as they do, but, I think if you've got a lot of money and you have a big platform, then you should use it for good. And, whatever your personal opinions of celebrities or whatever it might be, if they're using their voice and their money to help other people, then I think that's great because nobody needs that much money. So that's what I like. You can be as filthy rich as you want, just help other people. And they do.
Good. Great answer. So for business, describe yourself in 3 words.
Persistent.
Stubborn.
And self-motivated.
Nice. Okay. So what do you value most in other people, especially people in your clients? I know what I value in my clients. What do you value most in other people, specifically your clients?
People who are driven by helping. You know, it's we're all in business to make money. Of course, we're not doing it for free, but the money comes when you're good at helping people and when you're good at solving a problem. So when my clients or potential clients, when they say things that show me that they're just trying to be the very, very best at what they do, and when they're listening to their customers, that's always, that catches my attention, because I don't want to work with people who are only looking at the price tag.
Yeah. Yeah. Quality, service, and price. You got to put price at the very bottom at times, right? You got it's not cheap, but I mean, like, you know, sell the quality and the service. And you want people that are with you, obviously, for your quality and your service and your expertise. That's for sure. So what's one thing that you've learned in your business this past week?
No. Sometimes when they tell you no, it means not right now. I had someone who I had spoken to like later last year, like end of last year, and they wanted to enroll in my program. And ultimately they were like, yeah, no. Sure enough, I heard from them, and it's, you know, sounding like they had a change of heart. So no can, sometimes it's not really a no. It's just, we'll talk later.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. You never take no as a full answer, right? You just put them on the back burner and whatnot. So do you have to, at times, do you have to keep in contact with your clients, or do they come to you? Are you more reactive with your clients and getting the next job with them? Or are they just, you know, proactive with you, approaching you all the time saying, okay, here's another one, you're booked for like the next 3 or 4 months with them? How does it work for you?
Well, normally when I set them up, we come up with a monthly plan. So for example, if I'm providing blogging services for them, it'll be, okay, I'm going to do 4 blogs a month for you every month. So they already know what they're getting, but we're still in touch throughout the month. You know, maybe I'm sending them topics for approval, or I have a question about something. So the communication's pretty consistent, but I want them on that monthly plan so that I can forecast what my revenue is going to look like.
Got it. Do you have a referral program? And you're saying you're getting clients. You do?
Yeah, no, it's nothing official. Like, I don't have it up on my website or anything, but yeah, I always appreciate referrals, and I either, you know, pay them, or I'll knock it off their monthly rates, my monthly rates with them.
Actually verbally tell them that, hey, here's my referral program, jump on it, or, you know, thanks a lot, or is it a surprise to them?
No, they've usually been surprised, because it was something that they just did to be nice. Like, they weren't expecting anything, which makes you want to do it even more, because their motivations were, you know, very pure. They just wanted to help me out and send me business. So it's something that I'm always happy to do. Got
it. Okay, so look, I said I was going to do it under an hour, and we did it under an hour. So just a couple of quick questions. If anybody's got any questions over on the side, please post them now. That'd be great. Any questions for Megan? She's been an amazing guest tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know what? I right with you with a whole bunch of questions. I don't know if, you know, there's anything else that you'd like to say in closing comments right now. I mean, anything to our YouTube community or to other entrepreneurs that may be watching this?
You know, let's connect. I love meeting new people. You know, I want to just help as many people as I can with what I've learned, and hopefully save them some of the time and the headaches that I've experienced. But yeah, you can email me, say hello, you know, connect with me on social media, and whenever I can help, I will.
Yeah, so it's scrolling along the bottom, everybody. Her YouTube channel, her Instagram is all there. You know, go and check out her channel, her profile on Instagram, connect with her. She knows her stuff. At the end of the day, she really does know her stuff. So I'd like to say, hey, thanks for everybody for joining us tonight, and people that are watching this in the future. It's been great as always. Great to be back, and great to have Megan as a guest tonight. It's been a lot of fun. So I guess on that accord, we'll say good night, and we'll see you guys next week. I got another guest lined up for next Tuesday night at 8 o'clock as well. So, all right, for Chico and Peanut, We're gonna our dogs that were at the beginning of this. If you missed this and you made it this far in the stream, go back to the very beginning and watch our dogs. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night. Stay safe, everybody. Okay. See you later, everybody. Bye.